This is Conejo coming at you live, and we're going to talk about a positive situation that happened to me in Tehachapi Prison. In 2018, I was in Donovan State Prison, but I was only there temp house because I was in Calapac Prison, and there was an over familiar with staff. So they had to move me. When you get over familiar with staff, when a staff member knows you and he reports it, they're going to move you from that prison. So they moved me from there temporarily to be housed in Donovan State Prison. So when I was in Donovan State Prison, I was trying to actually stay there. And they said, no, you can't stay here because this is like a medical facility. But we're going to put you up for transfer. And I said, man, I'm trying to stay here. I already had a job and everything. So they put me up for transfer. And they actually endorsed me to Mill Creek State Prison, level 4. So, like, maybe I'm in the yard, like, maybe I'd say, like, a month and a half, and then they come tell me one day, Cornell, roll up your property, you need transfer. So I'm like, oh, man, I really didn't want to leave. I'm cool right here, but you don't got no choice. So I go to R&R, and I pack up all my stuff. And I tell him, when's the bus leaving? He goes, tomorrow morning. Early in the morning, like 4:30 in the morning. So I'm gone. I go to the yard, and I tell all the camaradas, the homies and shit, hey, man, I'm gone. You know what I mean? You guys take care, fool. Be cool and all that, because mostly everybody in Donovan is high-risk medical. It's like a lot of people that's really dying already in their last legs. And well, anyways, I ended up getting transferred, and we dropped off. The first stop we made was when we stopped off in Chino. We dropped off some people in Chino. The next stop we dropped off was the next prison we dropped off was Lancaster. So when we get to Lancaster, you got to remember, when you drop off people in the bus, they're picking up people and putting them in the back of the bus. Well, anyways, from there, we go from there to the next prison, and the next prison was Tehachapi, the 180, the level 4 high max. So I opened up that prison in 1985, the SHU. That was one of the first prisons that I went to when Duke Mason passed a law for everybody they called it back then a sympathizer to the Mexican mafia. Everybody that's sympathizing that would get a validated SHU. This whole thing was very brand. You got to remember, those prisons were just pretty getting built. So they take me there, and I open up that prison. Well, anyways, when I get there, I'm talking to the camaradas on the bus as they're bringing dudes in. I mean, as they're taking dudes off, the seal stands right in the middle. He calls your name, and all of a sudden I hear my name, Conejo. So I'm like, what? So he says, you Conejo? I said, yeah, come on, let's go. And I said, what? He goes, go where? And he goes, you're getting off right here. This is where you're getting off. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm endorsed to Mill Creek. And he said, no, as of yesterday, the day you packed up, you got endorsed here because in Mill Creek they had what's called a no intake. And I said, what do you mean no intake? He goes, well, you got to get your costume, man. I guess they had some like 8 dudes died over in that whole prison in different yards on fentanyl. They OD'd and died, so they had closed for intake. The whole prison's locked down, no intake. So this is where you got endorsed. So I'm kind of upset, man, because the 180 is like a high max. Like, man, I'm not really high max like that. So the 180 is like, man, I'm going back to the war zone. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and I already heard so many stories about Tehachapi, the yard right there. So I said, there's stabbings every day there. Every day there's stabbings in that yard. That's how bad it is. Every day, and they don't lock it down. They just resume program. Well, anyways, I get there, and as soon as I get there, the next day they call me for property. So I go to R&R, and I go get the property, but they took a lot of my stuff away from me that you can't have. You got to remember, it's a higher max. So when you're in high max, a lot of stuff you can have in the level 4s, you can't get it in the 180s. Well, anyways, I go back to the building, which at that time I was in building 7, and it's a trip because I was right next door to the cell when I was there in 1985. In 1985, I was there in the SHU, and I was right there to the next cell over. Well, anyways, I get there and I go back. 2 days later, they call me R&R. Well, this officer, Ms. Rios, is the one who was there in R&R, and she seen me argue with the staff to try and get my stuff. And she was, Cornell, don't make it hard on you, because here is different. And what's going to end up happening, you're probably going to get beat up by one of these COs too. You know what I mean? She's a CO herself. So Ms. Rios was pretty cool. So I just said, you know what? All right, whatever, man. They took it. Where do you want to send it? I said, I'm going to send it home. The stuff they took from me. So 2 days later, they call me back. I think to R&R. No, it was for medical. I go to medical, yeah. And over there in the 180, they got gates that you go in the hallway where you come out of it's like a wall, and you come out 2 gates. You got a gate, and you come into like a rotunda, and that's the visiting room, that's R&R, and then there's the medical facility, and you go all the way down, and there's a lieutenant's office, and you go all the way down, it's the kitchen. But it's a fence, electric fence, and there's like a bubble that comes out of the wall, and they control the fence. Well, anyways, when I get there, two other dudes, a black dude and a white dude, and I get next to the fence, and we're waiting for him to open so we can come in to go. We're going to medical. Yeah, it was medical. Well, anyways, the gate is open like maybe the size of a person can squeeze through there. Well, at this time it's already 2 o'clock, and people are leaving, and people are coming into the staff, and they got to walk through there too. So when I see it's Miss Rios, she's Cornell, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing all right. She goes like, oh, you see that you got all your stuff? And I go, yeah, I got some, not all my property. They sent some at home. And they see, I saved you a big old headache because you don't look like the type that belongs here. You look like you're a positive person. And most people here, they're in another path. So as we're talking, she says she's waiting for the lady to open the grill gate, or another officer in the grill gate in the control, central control. Well, she tells me, you think I fit through there? And I go, through the gate right here? I go, yeah. She goes, yeah, you probably fit through there. So she squeezes her way in there, and between the gate and the wall, and all of a sudden her body, the electricity of her body, clicks the gate on, and the gate smashes her right in the middle of her chest. The gate is...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And as it's closing on her, I could feel the gate smashing her, and she's in the middle, stuck in the middle of the fence and the wall, and she says, Cornell, help me. And I'm like, and the way she said it, like her voice was real low, like she was panicking, like her hair was already coming out of her whole body. And I said, man, I never touched a CO like that. So the first thing I did is reacting. So I grabbed her, and I start pulling her, and the gate is actually going like that, and it's getting more stuck and more stuck. And you can see the vest in her body, and the green suit is smashing the middle of her chest. So I tell the homies, right, there's a black dude and a white dude. I say, bro, help me out, bro. We got to get out. She's going to... face was already turning blue. And Miss Hill at this time already knocked out. She fainted. She's already turning blue. So this black dude says, man, fuck. She says, excuse my language. She says, the F word, fuck. She's a bitch anyways. She likes to hit pads. And the white dude jumps up. He goes, let's get her out. So as we're doing this, the officers are coming out of R&R. Like they had a meeting. And when they come out, they run and they get down. And they thought we were trying to do something. So we're on the other side of the fence, and we get down, and I said, man, we're trying to help her. She's stuck. And they're banging their shoulder on the other side of the fence to get her through the wall, through the fence, and she ain't budging. So I tell her, man, he goes, get up, help us. And I said, I've been trying to. And she goes, this one officer, Valdivia, he gets his knife, and he starts cutting the radio, because the radio's on that side. But the radio thing in their belt is in the other side of the fence. It's right in the middle. She starts cutting the vest out through with this knife as they're pushing. So I tell them, man, I gotta grab her leg, and to grab her leg next to her crotch. And I didn't want to disrespect them, So I said, do what you have to do. At this time, the captain and them, they were having committee that day. The captain and the social warden director, they hit someone. He said, do what you gotta do. So I grab her leg, and they're budging in the side, hitting her shoulder. As I grab her leg, boom, we push her, and she falls down, boom, and she's out, but the door stays stuck there, and nobody can get through there. You got to go all the way around towards the wall where the fence, or the other side of the fence is where the gym's at. If you've been to the 180 in Tehachapi 4A, well, you go all the way around. Well, anyways, I lay her down. I tell the lieutenant, the captain, I tell me, Cap, she's blue. If we don't give her no air, mouth to mouth, she's going to go brain dead. And he goes, do what you got to do, Cornell. You know how to do it? I said, yeah. So as soon as I do that, I jump down there and I start giving her mouth to mouth just to put air into her head so she won't go brain dead. And as we're doing this, they're coming all the way around with the gurney. It's a long way, so they come all the way around over by Building 6, come into where the shoe's at. You come all the way in, and as we get there, they say, okay, get out the way, let us do our job now. And they get down, and all of a sudden the medical starts helping and everything. Man, it was a crazy day, man. And I swear to God, I think God, the reason I'm sharing this story with you is because God put me in that yard at that time, in that prison, to specifically do that, because I think that's what's going to help me to get out of prison one day. Long story short, I end up saving Mrs. Rios' life in Tehachapi, the 180 A yard in July 12, 2018. So when this happens, the next day, the warden calls me to his office. He says, Cornell, why did you do this? Dude, I said, do what? Why did you save Miss Phil's life? And I said, for one, I'm a human being. For another, I just reacted as a human, and I'm a changed person. I'm a positive person. And that's why I did it. I'm a humble man. I'm a man of God. And he says, well, you know what, Coenjo? Today's your lucky day, man. For doing that, we're going to put you override level 3. Where do you want to go to? So I tell him, well, man, I'm trying to get close to home, man. Put me up for Donovan or Ironwood. He goes, okay. He goes, he tells me, go ahead and don't get comfortable because that's what's going to happen. You're going to go. And I'm thinking he's bullshitting me. And then he tells me that they could take a year off my sentence. So when I look in the paper, I go back home and I look in the Title 15, the rules. Yeah, they take us a new thing. They take a year off your sentence. Well, long story short, I end up going on override to Tehachapi, to Ironwood level 3 override because I'm a level 4 inmate. I got 125 points, so I'm a level 4. And you know, I was validated in the 80s. Well, they take me to a level 3, and it's like, man, it's like Disneyland there. You know what I mean? Everybody's running around like kids and everything. Well, I was in Ironwood. Well, that right there, God put me there in that situation, I think, to...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So when I go to board, he's going to bless me with a date. And that's one of the reasons that I opened up this Cash App. All you people out there, all my people that hear my stories, this is one of the reasons I opened up this Cash App. It's called Cash App Free Conejo because I'm trying to hire an attorney so when I go to board, I'm prepared so they release me. Remember, it's the dollar sign and then it's FREECONEJO, Free Conejo, and anything you can donate, $10, $5, whatever you can donate, send it there. And when I go to board, I'll have enough so I can hire me an attorney so I can get out. And I share this story with you because that right there changed my life. Everywhere I go to, a lot of the SEALs, when I go there, they read my file and they say, Coenjo, come here. Because they, you know, a lot of these SEALs are fascinated about the mafia, the MA, and all that because they read your file and they say that dude right there, OG, he was a carnal of the Mexican mafia. Because it's in your file, they can all read it. But some of them come and say, Coenjo, come here. He goes, hey, man, you saying this SEAL's life? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, why? He goes, you know her? He goes, yeah, I know her personally. She's from right here from Delano, man.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Man, that's good you did that, man. That's going to change your... When you go to court, you're going to go home one day. And I said, yeah, you know what I do, I have to do. You know what I mean? God's the one who put me there. Tony's going to hang out. Okay. Now we're going to... This is Conejo, and I'm going to 1995. Yes, 1995. Okay, when we were in Florence, Colorado. Okay, in Florence, Colorado, when we got to Florence, Colorado, me and my cuñado boxer, Luis Venegas, from San Diego, we get there, and at that time, we were there. That's when I tell you, we had the riot with the M&Ms from Texas over Sana. When Sana got there, Neto, M&M walked up to him and wanted to shake his hand and told me, carnal, soy el neto de Sananto. And
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And Sana tells him, hey, you're not my carnal, tú no eres de la M, don't be saying that. Well, that little conversation turned into a riot. And that's how I ended up going to Leavenworth. I went to Leavenworth, but Boxer ended up staying there. Well, at that time, we were in the oil. There was a vato there from Pennsylvania, and he knew old man Gato, Carnal Gato, Richard Martinez from San Diego, and he was trying to actually talk down upon him, but this vato, he didn't know that Gato was a Carnal from the MA. So Boxer one day tells him, we're in the oil, and Boxer tells me, shut your mouth. I mean, you don't know what you're talking about old man Cat. Because Boxer has a lot of respect for him. So he says, man, I know what I'm talking about. I was with him before in McNeil Island in the 70s and this. So he's talking. Well, long story short, I ended up getting transferred to Leavenworth. Boxer ended up staying there. So when I got transferred, I went up there in Gato. When I get there, Gato's there in Leavenworth. So when I run through Gato and I explained to him the whole situation about that dude, Mark from Pennsylvania. And he says, yeah, you know what, he ain't shit. I tell him, no, but the reason I'm explaining to him, because I got to write back and tell Boxer, my cuñado, that what do you want him to do? Well, Gato tells him, hey, dile que this is the way he talks. He says, dile que le den la madre, you know what I mean? When you mean le den la madre, to beat him up or whatever. Well, anyways, and tell him he's doing me a favor. So I get out my cuñado, and I tell him, well, my cuñado ends up booking this fool. He ends up stabbing him like 8 times, almost killed him. Well, he gets away with it. Well, he gets away when by the time we got word, this is like 2 months later, and we get word what happened. So Gato's all happy. Well, what Boxer did. So at that time, they were putting up carnales because of the little guerras that happened. They were putting up Chago from San Diego. They were putting up. I tripped out because Boxer's name was right there, and I tell Gato says, yeah, pues yo lo estoy poniendo para arriba porque ha hecho muchas cosas por mí. I'm putting him up. And in a way, I mean, I was happy, but I'm like, I felt like, well, what about me? You know what I mean? What about Conejo? But I didn't say that, but in my mind. And well, anyways, I tell Gato, el Boxer ya se va a salir because he's short to go home. And he goes, no le hace, pues si lo hacen, pues allá en la calle, pues allá agarra la respuesta, because Gato speaks nothing but Spanish, so that's why he said that when he gets out, he'll get word out there. So yeah, when they put him up, I send word out there and I tell him through other people, I get at him and tell him, but I really don't wanna say, because that's like when somebody's getting made, and for one, you're not even supposed to speak about it. Another is it's bad luck to let the other person know, hey, they're putting you up to make you a carnal. And so I just said, hey, que te vaya suerte, porque, I said word, hey, carnal, que te vaya suerte, hopefully, que te hacen, that way you don't forget about little old me, you know what I mean? Because once you're around a carnal, that if you're not a carnal, you're around a carnal that you got juice like that, like he was my cuñado and all that, then, hey, you can run practically anything, you know what I mean? With his backing, because he ain't going to let you down. So that's how I felt back then, you know what I mean? So when I tell him that, he ends up paroling. And when he paroled, I actually talked to him in the phone. I'm in the Feds, he's out in the calles, and I tell him, that's when I tell him, hey, they put you up. He goes, yeah, I know, but I don't know, they haven't confirmed it yet. And I said, hey, I heard you got confirmed, fool, but I don't want to say nothing. I'm going to tell Gato that you know. So what I did is, I asked Gato tells me, yeah, it's going around, his name's going around, everybody's voting right now. Pero como para next week, said, lo dejo saber. So, yeah, like a week passed, and he tells me, ¿sabes qué lo hicieron? Ya estuvo. Mándale tu palabra, yo le digo. So, what I did, I said, no, tú dile. So, I got the number in Tijuana, and I had him call, and I told him, hey, and Gato tells him, hey, te hicieron carnal, pórtate bien allá tienes todo allá, vete para con el Bat ya sabe también, and that's what Gato did. Gato went and actually talked to Bat in Tijuana, and showered to the carnales right there in San Diego, and told him, hey, el Boxer ya está hecho, el Luis Venegas. So, when I talked to my cuñado, I was happy, because back then, if you knew how it feels when you get made, I mean, you feel like you're untouchable, you know what I mean? And that's what I felt when I told him, and he was happy to talk to me, that, hey, carnal, don't worry. I said, acuérdate de los pobres, I'm telling him, in other words, to remember me, you know what I mean? He goes, hey, carnal, don't worry, fool, you know me. If I'm in, you're in, fool. So, that's how close we were, you know what I mean? I say this because unfortunately, my cuñado got killed in 2005, and some spell that happened in Tijuana, but I had so much love for him, you know what I mean? That was like me and him were like one person in between both of us all the time. So that's why I felt so good. And he tells me, hopefully when they put you up, I get to vote on it. And I said, yeah, you're gonna be able to. And I knew he will, and I know he's gonna vote me in, you know what I mean? But I said, man, I gotta wait till they open up the books again. Well, I had to wait a couple more years until I got made. But anyways, I wanted to express that story with all of you, because that's one of my true carnales that when he got in, I was so happy. And I'll tell you the truth, when I actually talked to him, he really was saying, man, you know what, I'm in, pero I just want to kick on back and do my thing. I'm doing good over here in Tijuana, carnal. And I tell them, tú sabes, tú haz lo que tú quieras, carnal. You do whatever you want, whenever you want. But you just got the licencia, you got the license now. De la mano negra, do whatever, fool. You know how it is. You gotta keep that under wraps, anyways. Because see, when you get made in as a carnal, you can't tell other people that you're a carnal, because you can be in violation for that. Now you can tell another carnal that's a carnal in the M, and he knows you are, and you can tell, what are the carnal, you know what I mean? But in front of other people, you can't speak like that. You gotta keep that under wraps. You cannot, when there's people, if somebody walks up to you and tells you, hey, homies, I heard they made you a carnal, you can't even speak on it. You gotta say, hey, no sé qué estás hablando, what are you talking about? Because you can get in trouble for doing that. Those are the rules. When you get in a game like this, I tell people, before you get in this game, you better know the rules from A to Z. Because if not, you violate one of them rules, you're going to die. They're going to get killed.